Y'all knew it was going to happen. Y'all knew I was going to go live for a minute. See if we get some traffic in here. Crazy, crazy bowl game. Crazy. But I called it. I saw that one coming. The Cure Bowl. And I'm talking a little low because my wife is sleeping, so sorry if it's too low for you. But Vandy, maybe it wasn't because of my video, maybe it was, but I called Liberty, so you're welcome if it was. You don't have to share it. Congratulations. $1,150. Good job. Yeah, I agree. That fumble was crazy. So real quick, I wanted to talk about um, the early bowl predictions that I've given out so far. So far, I'm 2-1. I missed the Western Kentucky Georgia State. I thought Western Kentucky's defense would be the deciding factor. It wasn't. Georgia State has a great offense, so that's my one loss. Um, the other win was Louisiana versus UTSA. Not just picking Louisiana, but I said take the points because it's going to be a close game. What happened? It was a close game because of UTSA's running back. I knew he was a beast. So that was a win, not just because I picked Louisiana. That was pretty much set in stone. Louisiana was the better team. But I said take the points. So that would have won you some more, or not take the points. Yeah, take the points. Don't lay them because I knew it was going to be close. And then the last game, I know Coastal was only a 7.5 point favorite, but the big thing that made me pick Liberty was I think it was just too much pressure for Coastal Carolina to finish the season undefeated. And Liberty's a really good football team, and they were off their routine. There was more gap between the last game and this game. They didn't even get to play their conference championship, so it was a big gap, and I thought there would be a little bit more rust. Now Liberty tried to give that football game away because of that fumble. Personally, I thought he was across the plane, but it still worked out. So as far as the first 5 bowls that I picked, I'm 2-1. All I'm waiting on is the Cheez-It Bowl, which I picked Miami to beat Oklahoma State. I think Miami has a way better offense. Oklahoma State was supposed to have a good offense, but it hasn't shown up yet. They do have a good defense, but I think Miami's defense is good enough to keep the scoring down for Oklahoma State, and I think Miami can blow Oklahoma State out. I really do. I think Miami's a better team. And so that's one game I'm waiting on. I think that happens tomorrow. And then the other one is the Alamo Bowl. Texas, a 9.5 point favorite over Colorado. Of course, I picked Texas, but I also said to lay those 9.5. I don't know where the line is now, but if it's anywhere below 2 touchdowns, I would lay those points. I do think that Texas is a much better team than Colorado. Colorado has a bad defense and an on again, off again offense. So I don't think their offense is going to be good enough to beat Texas. So those are my 2 remaining bowl picks for the first slate. Then after that, I'm going to pick on the next slate. So we're going to keep up in sections. So far in my first section, I'm 2-1. I let all the lower kind of crappier bowls go to the wayside. I wasn't really interested in those. I hate the matchups that they came up with. If you're a subscriber on my channel, you've seen me give bowl updates week by week. I had some great matchups, and I went by bowl tie-ins and conference finishes, and for whatever reason, a lot of those picks didn't work out, and we got some bad matchups, some uninteresting matchups. So I kind of wish they would have watched my videos and got the matchups that way. It would have still made sense. It would have still been following bowl tie-ins and conference finishes. But anyways, it is what it is. I'm 2-1. I was royally mad whenever Liberty fumbled on the 1-inch line. I thought the ball crossed the plane, but I thought they gave the game away right then and there. I was like, well, I thought I had a great pick, but I guess Liberty just doesn't want to win. And then they came up with that blocked field goal in overtime, and that helped me feel better. I just thought Liberty thrives in the underdog role, and Coastal Carolina is used to being the underdog, and I just don't think Coastal Carolina fit the favorite role. I think that's what uh, that was one of the factors. They're good at underdog, not the favorite. It was too long of a gap, and the pressure of finishing undefeated for the first time ever, Sun Belt conference member would have went undefeated. It didn't happen. I just thought it was too much pressure, and the layoff was just too large. So I was pretty confident in that Liberty pick. And then Liberty goes up 14-0. But Coastal Carolina is a good enough team to battle back. They did. Then Liberty tried to give the game away, and then the blocked field goal. So a lot of up and down emotions going through that game. I couldn't imagine being a fan of either Coastal Carolina or Liberty. I would have probably ended up in the hospital. It was crazy, but I loved it. My pick turned out to be good. Vandy won 1,150 on the Liberty game. Congratulations. Have a good post Christmas. Go get you some things, man. If you need to pay off some bills, by all means do so, but don't forget to treat yourself, because that was a good pick. Goose says Hughes tried to give it away. It wasn't Hugh. It was his offense not understanding what he was trying to do. On that first play, they understood it. He just stood there and knelt it. If he would have done that the second time, instead of trying to, for whatever reason, the running back tried to scoot up a few yards and then kneel. When you're that close to the goal line, 2 or 3 yards isn't going to hurt. In fact, you probably want to be a little bit further out so the angle is better. But for whatever reason, he scooted up too close. His offensive lineman didn't understand what was going on. I still think the ball crossed the plane, but it's okay. There wasn't enough evidence to overturn it. I know how that works. I was mad, but in the end, it worked out, and I'm pretty happy about that. Jeff, thoughts on the Peach Ball? I'm going to get to that here in just a second. Vandy, all they had to do was take a knee 3 times and kick a field goal. Exactly right. There was some miscommunication between the running back, the coach, and the offensive lineman. You could see Coastal Carolina trying to pull him in. That's because he scooted too far up. He should have stayed in the background and knelt as soon as he saw somebody sneaking up on him. You don't try to get to where somebody can get their hands on you, because Coastal wanted them to score if it was going to happen right then and there, so they couldn't milk the clock. Stay away from the hands so there's no chance. What happened? He didn't stay away, and worst case scenario happened. And I really felt bad for the dude, because after that happened, the camera was on him, and he was all by himself. He was beating himself up pretty bad, and yeah, it was rough. But Liberty comes off with the win. Strauss says, as you expected, Liberty won. Yes, that's true, but man, they tried to give the game away. It was stupid. I thought it was a TD. Agree. Vandy Dandy, I'm going to put everything in my account on the Bama money line. That's actually not a terrible bet. Personally, I think Clemson is on the hot streak right now. I think Florida exposed Alabama, but as far as talent versus talent, coach versus coach, I think Alabama does have the better team. So that is not a terrible bet. Just don't put your mortgage on that. Okay, don't do that. That's a bad decision. Win or lose, that's just not responsible. But I get what you're saying. I know you're not betting irresponsibly. That's not what I'm saying. Vandy says, almost had a heart attack. I didn't almost have a heart attack, but I almost broke some things whenever I saw that play. I haven't been that mad since watching a West Virginia game. I get furious when I watch West Virginia games, because we have done some stupid things. So that's probably